We begin with the anniversary of a botched and brutal robbery that left 3 dead. As KGUN 9 on your side's Craig Smith reports, murders at the Pizza Hut that once stood near Broadway and Pantano still haunt Tucsonans 20 years later.
Kathy Weir remembers the phone call. It came at 1:15 in the morning.
The phone rang, and I answer it, and I hear there's 3 victims. There was 2 victims inside, and they're both dead. And I was getting ready to say, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number, and I realized it was my sister-in-law. And she was calling from the Circle K next to the Pizza Hut, letting me know that there had been a murder there that evening.
She says police did not confirm the IDs right away, but she knew one of the victims had to be her brother, Bob Curry. He was the manager at Pizza Hut, shot to death along with busboy James Bloxam and waitress Lisa Moniz. The memory of waiting outside, knowing what happened inside, still haunts Bob Curry's wife, Deb.
Because when I got there that night, the whole place was filled with cop cars with their lights flashing. So if I see a police car go by with the siren, I can feel my stress level go up. And if I see like 3 of them go by with lights on, a few years back, I was just standing on a corner at a light and getting ready to cross the street, and some cop cars went through with their lights flashing, and I started crying.
She says it's the knowledge someone else may be about to learn the cost of sudden, violent loss. Bo Hearst L, 17 at the time, and Tom Prasserpong, then 19, are both in prison now. Each claimed the other started the slaughter. Kathy Weir thinks Hearst L was the instigator, but Prasserpong is in prison for life, while Hearst L is set for release in 8 years. After a long series of appeals, court decisions, and retrials, death penalties were dropped. Hearst L got a lighter sentence by pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Kathy Weir feels Prasserpong showed remorse, but Hearst L never has.
He was a sociopath when he's 17. He's a sociopath now. And I would say to this day, he never accepts responsibility. He lives in his own little fantasy world of what happened, and he probably views himself as a victim.
Kevin Kinsey remembers his sister Lisa Moniz as such a kind person, cut down in a burst of cruelty. He says he wishes both Hearst L and Prasserpong had been sentenced to death, but spends more time in business and life reflecting the kindness he learned from his sister.
My whole life has been built around that, what happened there, and using that negative as a positive to try to, better my own life, and using that as a strength as, a son, a brother, a father, a friend.
Deb Curry says she's only talked publicly about the murders once before this. She feels others pull away from hearing such a personal pain. She moves forward, powered by her husband's example of trying to do good in the world.
You see so many people who are angry and bitter about things, and I see people like that, and I just think, your life, you're just making yourself sick, and you're going down a really negative, dark path. And, for me, everybody's free to make their own choice about how they deal with pain. But for me, it was like Bob was a positive person, and he touched people's lives positively. And I can't honor his memory if I don't do the same.
Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.